The following is a special presentation of Raycom Sports, home to regional college football and basketball.
Hey, we're Rascal Flat.
And it's time for some SEC football, baby.
On Raycom Sports.
One of the more recognizable traditions in all of college football, the Tennessee Volunteers running through the famous T, a pregame ceremony that is rich in tradition. We are inside this mammoth structure they call Neyland Stadium as the Volunteers open up the 2008 home campaign, taking on the UAB Blazers out of Conference USA. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dave Neal, and welcome to a very sunny Knoxville, Tennessee. We hope you are safe wherever you may be in this very trying time, weather-wise, around certainly the southwest part of this country. Now, as we get set for Tennessee and UAB, we did not expect to have two winless clubs going at it today, but one thing is for certain, one team will walk out of here with a victory. Philip Fulmer has been as agitated as I can remember him being the last 2 weeks since this devastating loss to UCLA on Monday night. You know he's gotten after his club after what happened on the West Coast. Joining me, our quarterback, Dave Archer. And, Dave, you've been in those situations before. It's been a tough couple of weeks. It's been a while since they played, but they got to get this offense cranked up. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, Dave, and they're going to lean on their strength, and their strength is running the football. All he did last year was have an all-SEC performance. He's one of the best backs in the country. And Arian Foster will be the guy they'll lean on today. 1,200 yards rushing last season, 12 touchdowns. He's a do everything back. He will block you. He'll catch it out of the backfield. He'll run through you. He'll run around you. He's the guy they're going to lean on today. 13 carries, 96 yards against UCLA. You can bet we'll see more Arian Foster today.
Well, he certainly is a guy that can carry that workload. Now, as far as UAB is concerned, this is a team that has given up a ton of points, but the good news is that they can score some. They've got an electrifying quarterback.
Yeah, their quarterback is a do-everything guy, and he actually was their second leading receiver last year, if you can believe that. He leads them in rushing this year, and he's a guy that all of Tennessee defensively will have their eyes on today.
Well, they'll need to score some points. The defense giving up about 47 points a game, but Joe Webb has put together a monstrous games, both running the football and throwing it. He'll have to have another outstanding afternoon here in Neyland Stadium. Well, let's take a look at our Toyota keys to the game.
UAB is overmatched up front, 40 pounds a man. They'll have to do some things a little bit extra to measure up to Tennessee's offensive line today. And for Tennessee, they did not cash in their opportunities. 4 turnovers in the first half last week. They'll have to make an effort to try to turn it up and take care of those opportunities when they get them from their defense.
We're going to have a crowd of close to 100,000 here, I think, due to some of the high gas prices. Some of the folks around the Tennessee area paying $5, $6 a gallon of gas. So we may not have a full house, but nonetheless, still a large crowd. And don't forget, SEC football presented in high definition, where available by Raycom Sports. Well, Tennessee won the toss. They will defer, so the Blazers will get the football first if they can hold on to it here on the opening kickoff. Back deep is Frantrell Forrest, an electrifying wide receiver and return man. He will take it at the goal line. And Forrest will take it out to the 20-yard line. As always, third member of our team, down on the sidelines, Mr. Dave Baker. Buzz, what do you got?
Hey, Dave, you talked about Philip Fulmer. You know, he's got a beautiful grandson that's about a month old, but that has done little to improve his disposition since UCLA. He says finish and consistency are the words for today. He's been preaching to his team what Lombardi said. The mastery of the fundamentals is the way you have success. He has had some brutal practices the last couple of weeks, and it'll be interesting to see how this Tennessee football team comes out today.
First play, a handoff that, well, gets a couple extra yards to Aaron Johns. Rico McCoy with the initial hit, but a good run by Johns to get it out over the 25. Well, Dave Archer, Joe Webb, you talked about him a little bit in the open there, but your thoughts about what kind of challenges he presents?
Well, it's a monumental challenge against this Tennessee defense, Dave, and Joe will need a number of players to step up around him. Fortunately for Neil Callaway's team, they do have some good skill people around Joe Webb. Webb will have to distribute the ball today.
Second down and a couple of yards. And whistles blow as a flag is thrown at the 28-yard line. Ken Williamson, our referee today.
Prior to the snap, ball start on the offense, number 11. 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Well, Dave, you mentioned some of those weapons, and here they are for UAB.
Yeah, Frantrell Forrest is the guy that returns, had a great freshman year. He's the leading receiver, returning at a monster day last week. And Jake Seitz anchors a young offensive line, 3 sophomores on the offensive line for UAB.
The only senior that starts for Neil Callaway, who is in his second year as the head coach of the Blazers program. The only senior is the tailback Aaron Johns, and he started his career at Alabama back in /04, then went to Cobia Lincoln Junior College before finding his way to UAB. And here's Joe Webb right on cue. Picks up the first down out over the 35 to the 36-yard line, run out of bounds by
Joe Webb. Does a great job here, David, getting a block in behind Slaughter, the tailback, and got him to the sidelines. Now, that's Tennessee's linebackers are going to have to do a great job of keeping their eyes on Joe Webb, because he will take off. A lot of his stuff is impromptu stuff running the football.
John Chavis, the defensive coordinator. I was trying to give a tackle there to somebody on the Tennessee team, but nobody touched Webb. He just ran out of bounds on his own. Rashad Slaughter gets a couple. Take a look at that Tennessee defense. We showed you John Chavis a moment ago. This Tennessee defense, front four, last year not a ton of sacks, but John Chavis says that, you know, they were pretty active in week 1.
Yeah, and they'll have to be active, Dave. Rico McCoy, the leading tackler from second leading last year, but leading tackler coming back. And, of course, Eric Berry, the do-everything safety, will be anchoring the secondary.
Yeah, that secondary is about as good as you will find in the country. First pass from Webb, incomplete at the 45-yard line. Looking for Zach Langford. Alex Wilson. By the way, we've got complete confirmation from Alex Wilson. His name has been pronounced 4 or 5 different ways, but Dave Archer went down, actually grabbed the young man and said, I want it official. And he's going to go with Alex. So that's what we're going with. Whatever keeps Alex happy, we're going to go with it.
Better believe it. Alex is that middle guy, and you don't want to make him mad.
Third down coming up.
This is where they got to be careful with Webb running the ball.
Little option. Good catch by Slaughter to keep it alive. Nowhere to go, and he loses a yard. He did a wonderful job just holding on to the football.
He did, David. An outstanding job by Tennessee out on the edge. You take away the edge against the option, make the quarterback keep it. Well, he pitches it. An outstanding job of Rico McCoy being on the outside to take away the pitch. Let's go down to Dave Baker.
Arch, the task for UAB just got a little more difficult. Aaron Johns, the outstanding senior running back, just walked past me into the locker room back where Tennessee has x-ray facilities. We'll check on what's wrong with him and get back to you.
Well, Swayze Waters does the punting and kicking. Will punt it away to Gerald Jones, who stands at his 17-yard line. Wobbly kick. That will hit and roll out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Time for Nothing Like It, presented by Crystal. Inside Neyland Stadium. Tennessee has led the SEC in attendance every year since '74. Last year it was over 103,000. Now they have produced 418 wins in this building, which is now in its 87th season. Only Georgia Tech has more wins in their facility than do the Volunteers inside Neyland Stadium. It truly is nothing like it. First play, handoff. Foster trying to get the edge. Arian Foster to midfield and pushed out of bounds by Marquise Coleman, who gets the start in the secondary today for the UAB Blazers.
Well, Arian does a great job of finding the backside. He's a great cutback runner, and then his great speed. We talked about he'll run through you, but he can also run around you. He did a good job of getting to that cutback lane and outran the secondary for a big gainer.
A gain of 25 on the Vols' first play of the game. Your thoughts about Jonathan Crompton in his opening game, Dave, at UCLA?
Well, I thought he did some good things, Dave. I think they asked him to pass the ball a bit too much. Some of that was because they were behind late in that game trying to rally back, but I don't think they want him throwing it over 40 times.
Here's Foster. Falls forward for maybe a yard. Richard Carter out of his defensive end spot will get credit for that tackle. Let's take a look at the rest of that Tennessee offense.
Well, it's a wide receiver core that it's a good, solid one. Nobody jumps out at you. Lucas Taylor's a guy that had over 1,000 last year, but it's a group that's solid. And up front, this is an entire offensive line that returns. Anthony Parker, all-SEC performer at that guard spot. I mean, they are good up front, Dave.
Couple of tight ends, Stocker and Warren in for Tennessee on second, and we'll call it 9. Foster splits out wide. Here's the tight end, Stocker with a grab. Pick up 6. Drew Luker, true freshman linebacker, on the tackle. Let's take a look at that UAB defense. That's very young and small. Not a great combination.
No, it's not. You're talking about a guy that started 11 times, so they've got a couple guys that have started some games, but like you said, Dave, they're young. Joe Anderson returns. He was second leading tackler last year, and then in the back end, Will Dunbar led this team in tackles, an all-conference USA performer. Solid player at the safety spot.
On third down, they'll work the right side, and they will pick up a first down to the Volunteers to the UAB 35-yard line. Foster getting another carry. Terrell Springs, the true freshman out of Chester, South Carolina, along with Keon Harris, combined on the stop.
Dave, we talked about the size differential of this offensive line. We see Arian's numbers from 2 weeks ago against UCLA. It's 40 pounds a man or right around that. It's really going to be tough, and they're going to have to create some stuff on defense. Eric Schumann, the defensive coordinator, going to have to create some pressure looks to kind of strip the passing or the blocking assignments.
Quick throw near side. Lucas Taylor dancing around. Gets a couple on the play. Give him 3. Will Dunbar, that safety out of Atlanta, GA, in on the stop.
Going to be important for Tennessee to get a lot of things going as they get ready to go into their SEC schedule. But there's their offensive line, the differential, and that may not take effect early in the game, but by the time you get into that second quarter, third quarter, having to push around 45 pounds a man or 40 pounds a man becomes very fatiguing.
Single setback is Foster. Little stutter step, got him nowhere. Good tackle. Made by Leggett. Leggett steps up.
Well, we talked about you're going to have to run through with some linebackers, and Leggett is going to run through, runs past the block. You see he runs past the block and makes the play, and those are run dogs or run blitzes that I think UAB is going to have to utilize defensively to offset the size differential. Use your quickness and run through the gaps to make some plays.
Third down and 7. Crompton hit as he throws, and the intended target also stumbles on the play. That was Gerald Jones.
Another good pressure, Dave, and it's another linebacker blitz. Joe Henderson is going to come on a delay blitz, 51 right there, and gets in Crompton's face. And made the throw come out a little bit quicker than Crompton wanted to, and the ball was high. So a nice stop for the Blazer defense on 3rd down.
Tennessee will go for it from the 32-yard line on 4th down and 7. What kind of message are you sending if you're Philip Fulmer on a 4th and 7, Dave?
I think you're sending it. We've got to get it done offensively, and we're going to count on you today to convert.
Crompton breaks one tackle. I don't think he'll get it. Well shy. He gets to the 30-yard line, and UAB holds the Volunteer offense. Tim Davis with the tackle. And the Blazers will get the football back.
Part of that, Dave, is a product of what they weren't able to do in the kicking game last week. Missed some long ones. Didn't want to put Lincoln in that position.
Neil Callaway is happy. We'll be back in a moment. Part of the $27 million Phase 2 renovation of Neyland Stadium as the players head down the new walkway leading to their brand new locker room. Home opener for this Tennessee team here in 2008. Here's Slaughter dancing around, breaking tackles, finally slowed down by some orange jerseys. He will lose a couple of yards. DeMonte Bolden will get credit for the stop. Boy, losing, you heard Buzz before we went to commercial a few moments ago talk about already an early loss. Aaron Johns, their starter at tailback for UAB, 1 carry and headed off to the locker room to get some x-rays done. So Slaughter looks like he will be the next guy to get a lot of carries. Now Justin Brooks checks in, the sophomore out of Dothan, Alabama. Here's Webb dancing around, flag down that backfield. Webb hurdles one defender and then fumbles the ball out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Got it back to the line of scrimmage. We'll see what that flag is in the UAB backfield.
And Martin.
Well, it certainly looked like we're going to have a hold. Greg Bowles, the left tackle, working against, looked like Robert Ayers.
Holding on the offense, number 63. 10 yards, previous spot. Please take it down.
Let's take a look at our Suzuki Motorcycles out-of-town scoreboard. David Cutcliffe, Duke Blue Devils trailing. Of course, Coach Cutcliffe, offensive coordinator here last year for Tennessee. So now 2nd and 25 coming up for UAB. Ball sits at their 15. Pass is caught by Forrest. They will spot his progress just a hair over the 20-yard line, a gain of 5. And a big hit by Eric Berry.
Well, this is the featured guy. Frantrell Forrest, number 7, will come inside trying to find a hole in the zone. And Eric Berry comes up to make the play. Chance to talk to Eric Berry yesterday, Dave, and we talked to him about playing more down in the box area. And that's where he was. He rotated down from the safety spot to make that tackle normally where a linebacker would be.
Eric Berry is a guy that the best thing I could say is he just gets it. Gets it in life, gets it in football. He just gets it. Little reverse. Well played by Tennessee. It's Justin Johnson tripped up. He'll lose a couple. Not a good series for UAB.
No, and a nice job by Adam Myers-White, the linebacker. Stayed at home on the reverse. Did a good job of forcing it wide, and then Tennessee rallied up to make the play.
Yeah, good job by Dennis Rogan.
Myers-White, number 48, does a nice job, excellent job of getting up there and forcing it, making it take too long on the reverse.
After the play was over, personal foul. On the offense, number 5. After distance to goal, will be 4th down.
Well, so that'll back up UAB even further. They were looking at a 4th and 22. They will spot the ball just about the 9-yard line. So a 4th and 31, we'll say.
This gives the dangerous Gerald Jones an opportunity from midfield.
Waters gets the punt off, angling for the sideline. It hits and rolls out of bounds at the 44-yard line. So Tennessee was stopped on downs in their first possession. Now they have excellent field position for their second drive. And we are scoreless in Knoxville, Tennessee. We will return after a word from your local stations. Well, first time since 1989 that Tennessee is not ranked for their home opener. Kind of a strange occurrence, but they will open up their second drive of the game inside UAB territory at the 44-yard line. Crompton with a play fake. Wide open is the tight end, Luke Stocker, right through his hands. Let's take a look at that UAB defense that kind of stood tall there on the first drive.
They did a nice job of gang tackling, first of all. A lot of speed on Tennessee's team. Got a gang tackle, and now you got to create some opportunities defensively with some run blitzes, run dogs. You see the linebackers coming there to stop the run, and then here Joe Henderson, the pressure on Crompton. It's exactly what they're going to have to do. They had a tough time stopping the run last year. They're going to have to do a good job of team defense this year to stop the run.
So on 2nd and 10, it's Foster. And a flag comes down at the 40-yard line as Foster got very close to that first down marker at the 33-yard line. Will Dunbar knocked him out of bounds, but they'll back it up. Penalty against Tennessee.
But Dave, we talked to offensive coordinator Dave Clawson yesterday, and he talked about we need to grow as an offense. Coach Fulmer wants to see that from this offense, and that's not what he's seeing with his penalties.
Penalties and spot a foul. Repeat, second down.
Let's take a look at our Chick-fil-A nugget of the game, and so much has been made, at least the first couple of weeks, about the new play clock and what it will do in terms of plays per game. But a pretty dramatic decrease in plays per game from last year, but a little bit better than, or still a little bit less than 2006. Game time, 3:10.
I think it gives you a little bit more consistency for the officials, Dave, to get the ball spotted, the clock runs. There's no holding the clock. I think it helps them a little bit.
Pass is caught. Lucas Taylor breaks a couple of tackles. Taylor to the 30, down to the 25-yard line. Finally run down by Keon Harris, but a couple of missed tackles allowed for the big gain of 28 yards.
Well, Dave, we just saw in our defensive package for UAB, they came up and made this tackle in the first series of downs. Here Taylor makes them miss. And this is why Tennessee's so dangerous, so much speed at the wide receiver spot and in the slots, that they're able to make something small into something big.
There were actually 3 missed tackles on that single play. First down and 10 at the 24-yard line. And handoff to Foster. Gain of 4 on the play.
Good job by Joe Henderson to step up in the hole. We've mentioned Henderson's name a couple times already in the game. Did a good job on the blitz in that third down situation against Crompton. And here he gets in and gets around the feet area in Foster and changes his direction.
Henderson, a standout linebacker, a 2-time All-Conference USA player, 109 tackles a year ago. Here's Crompton rolling left, throwing to the end zone, caught, touchdown, Gerald Jones. A 20-yard touchdown strike.
This is just a matter of Kevin Sanders falling asleep at the corner spot. Crompton probably should have got the ball to the flat in the back in the flat right away. But instead he holds on to it and he finds Gerald Jones, and Gerald Jones just runs by Kevin Sanders. Kevin didn't have any other responsibility than stay with Jones, but good job of Jones staying on the route. Crompton finds him for the big play.
Kevin Sanders considered the best cover corner on this Blazer football team. He gets beat by Gerald Jones, the sophomore out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Gives Tennessee a 7-0 lead. Back in a moment. Take a look at our Texas Pete scoring drive as Tennessee leads it 7-0. 5 plays, 44 yards. And it was Jonathan Crompton with his first touchdown pass of 2008, hitting Gerald Jones in the end zone on a 20-yard strike.
Yeah, and give the Tennessee defense some credit. Turnovers sometimes are the ones you look at. When you get defensive stop deep, it flipped the field and gave Tennessee the short field offensively.
Rantrell Forrest at the 1-yard line. Here's Forrest out over the 25. Fans, get your cell phones ready. It's time for our new interactive feature called the Alltel Text Station. We want your answer to this question. Which quarterback will have more yards of total offense, Joe Webb or Joe Crompton? Text your answer to S1 or S2 to 55333. We'll update the results later in the half.
Block in the back on the receiving team, number 39. 10-yard penalty, spot on the foul. It'll be first down.
Boy, UAB causing some problems for themselves here with a couple of penalties of late.
Well, Dave, it's an uphill battle for them in this contest anyway. To put themselves deep in holes on offense is just magnifying the problem.
So Slaughter still in at tailback. We'll try to get you an update on what's happening with Aaron Johns, who left after one play. Joe Webb dancing around. He will gain about 5 or 6 on his own.
Boy, on his own is right. Good job by Tennessee, just kind of hold the ground, but Webb found a hole. Nick Reves comes up and makes a tackle.
There's kind of a connection there between the Reves family and you.
Yeah, Fuad Reves was a kicker here in 1982. My first start was here in Neyland Stadium, and unfortunately, Fuad kicked a 50-yard field goal and beat us at the end of the game.
That's a long trip back to Iowa State, wasn't it? Pass incomplete, looking for the tight end. Jeffrey Anderson, the sophomore out of Selma, Alabama.
This is a team in UAB that did a good job, has done a good job the first 2 weeks, Dave, in 50% on third down. It's big down here. You need to keep that defense off the field if you're a UAB Blazer.
Here's a 3rd down and 5. On the year, 16 out of 32 in this department for UAB. Kim Hilton's offense, the offensive coordinator for Neil Callaway, has been pretty efficient this season. Over the middle, Forrest with a catch. John Chavis, the defensive coordinator, told us this young man can play for anybody in the Southeastern Conference.
That's a big-time matchup, too, because it looked like Eric Berry had rolled down from the safety spot to cover him man-to-man to the inside. There's 2 big-time athletes going head-to-head, and that time Forrest wins the battle in the one-on-one matchup.
Forrest actually came to Tennessee to UAB as a defensive back. So glad they made the switch over to offense, don't you?
Led the team in receiving last year, 11 receptions last week. He's been solid.
On 1st and 10, Webb will throw. Lofts it up. A little too much, looking for Carter. Incomplete. Salas Johnson on that coverage.
Well, it's a good job by Marcellus Johnson to kind of jar the route loose. Let's go down to Dave Baker.
Arch, interesting as we watch this offense. John Chavis talked yesterday about trying to beat the guy in the box. That's not 8 men in the box, but that's the guy up in the box calling the offenses. And that's the thing the defensive coordinators have to deal with now as UAB's running this check me at the line with the new play clock.
Yeah, and ultimately the guy in the box is the guy between the tackles, and that's Joe Webb, because he's getting the signals in from the side on the check with me buzz. And they're doing a good job.
Webb will throw, hits his tight end. That goes to Langford. Gain of about 5, maybe 5.5. That'll bring up a 3rd down. And we'll say 4.5. Adam Myers-White on the tackle for Tennessee. They got a nice little battle going at that backer spot. Nevin McKenzie, Adam Myers-White, 2 guys really battling it out for some playing time.
McKenzie had the big interception return for a touchdown against UCLA. A converted safety now at linebacker.
Number 40, Jim Mitchell in at running back now for UAB. Webb stands tall. Pass batted away at the last moment by Johnson. Good defensive play, and that'll bring up a 4th down.
Working the slant route against Marcellus Johnson. Good job of holding on to the ball, waiting, but good job of Johnson rolling or getting his hands in front of the throw to Mario White.
So another punting opportunity coming up for Swayze Waters. Averaging 35.5 in his first couple of kicks. This one will be taken by Jones. And Jones dropped at the 35-yard line. Well, Geico is canvassing the country this year to get the fans' input on all the best moments of the 2008 football season. For tour updates, tour schedules, and your chance to take the Geico Best of 2008 fan poll, check out bestofcollegesports.com. So Tennessee will take over at the 35 on their 3rd possession of the afternoon. Jonathan Crompton, 4 out of 6 for 57 yards and a touchdown. And Montario Hardesty getting a look at tailback. The pass goes to the outside. It's Lucas Taylor. Taylor flying down the field to the 20 and stumbles at the 17-yard line.
Well, Dave, Lucas Taylor had a monster year last year, and this is just a quick screen to the outside, get a quick block, and he's going to turn it back to the inside. Does a good job of finding the block, and then this good open field running, trying to maximize as much as he can get out of the run before he's finally clipped and knocked down by Tony Leggett, the linebacker.
48 yards on that pickup. Sets up Tennessee in the red zone. Hardesty tripped up inside the 15. Tennessee now in the red zone, and we take a look at a red zone powered by Honda generators for the ultimate tailgating experience. 40 touchdowns and 61 possessions. Boy, they would have liked to have that number increased.
No, there's no question about that. But they've got a lot of talent, Dave, that they can get the ball. We've seen what Lucas Taylor can do on short throws, and a lot of times down here teams want to zone you off or take away the deep throw. They've got guys that can catch it and make a play with it. One of the guys we haven't talked about yet, David, I know you will, is Luke Stalker, the linebacker, or the tight end.
Timeout on the field. We'll return after this message from the SEC. To the end zone. Touchdown. Gerald Jones with his 2nd grab in the end zone this afternoon. It goes 14 yards.
Working against the freshman Marquise Coleman. And Gerald Jones has his 2nd of the day, but it's the kind of route you want, Dave, against man coverage. It's the corner route, and just throw it to the back pylon if you're the quarterback, and Gerald Jones is going to come up with it. But inside man technique, all Crompton has to do is throw it to the back corner, working against Marcellus Johnson or Marquise Coleman, and Gerald Jones has the touchdown. When you see that as a quarterback, your eyes get really big there.
Point after is up and good. Gerald Jones had 160 all-purpose yards against UCLA. And Tennessee leads it 14-0. Back after a word from UAB. Tennessee leading by 2 touchdowns with 65 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. Take a look at our Texas Pete scoring drive. This one didn't take very long. The big play was a 48-yarder to Lucas Taylor that set up Tennessee inside the red zone. And then Crompton hits Jones for the 2nd time this afternoon. So Chad Cunningham will kick it off to Frantrell Forrest, who stands at the 5. And he will backpedal to the goal line. And a block at the back coming up as Forrest gets it to the 15-yard line. A couple of flags come in. So once again, UAB not doing themselves any favors. They will be backed up into that
During the return, block in the back. Receiving team number 39. Half the distance to goal will be first down.
They will be backed up near that goal line once again. Let's go downstairs and get an update on an injury from UAB. Buzz?
Yeah, going to be even tougher for the UAB offense, Dave. The word from the Blazers sideline. Aaron John's out for the game with a rib injury. You don't want to speculate, but they took him in to get it x-rayed, and he's not coming back. So, at the very least, a bad bruise, but certainly a big player for the Blazers in their backfield gone for the day.
Yeah, Buzz. 1 carry, 8 yards, first play of the game. That was it for Aaron Johns.
The young man came in averaging 6.2 a carry, Dave, and had been solid in their first couple of weeks. Now they'll have to lean on Rashad Slaughter, who led them in rushing second in rushing last year.
Webb keeps it. Gets a couple on the play, maybe 3 as he falls forward. Our 1st and 10 line brought to you by IKBI Incorporated. Igby, building vision, building relationships. You know, this has really puts Kim Helton, the offensive coordinator, in a tough spot. You want to try to maybe open up things. You lose your tailback. I mean, where do you go as a coordinator in terms of trying to get yourself out of a hole like this?
You put it in the hands of your best football player, and that's Joe Webb. Let him make decisions. He does a great job deciding when to throw it and when to pull it down.
Well, he will throw it on this one. Nice grab out over the 30 to the tight end, Jeffrey Anderson. But what a throw from Joe Webb right on cue.
Boy, excellent throw against the 2 deep coverage. There's a hole in between the safety and the corner. The corner's up tight. Throw it in behind the corner and in front of the safety. Excellent throw. Good job of sucking it in there from the tight end, Jeffrey Anderson. Jeffrey comes in with 5 receptions, his 6th on the year there.
Well, that'll get UAB out of a big hole. And that'll do it into the quarter. But 2 late touchdown strikes from Jonathan Crompton to Gerald Jones have given the Volunteers a 2-touchdown advantage after 15 minutes of play. We will return to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville after this. Smoky Mountains off in the distance. We're on the banks of the Tennessee River on a warm and humid afternoon in Knoxville. A little razzle-dazzle. Forrest will throw it back. Looking for Webb. And a flag comes down.
That was a starting running back. Slaughter handed the ball off to his quarterback, and then he handed it off to Forrest. And then Forrest threw it back to Webb.
Pass interference on the defense, number 5. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, and an automatic first down.
Rantrell Forrest throwing it after taking the reverse handoff, and then Webb trying to work back to get the football. And Rico McCoy just grabbed him and pulled him down.
Well, Kim Helton pulling all the tricks out of his bag today.
Remember, he was the second-leading receiver on his team last year, Joe Webb.
Slaughter maybe gets a yard. Take a look at our first quarter Raycom stats. Total yards dominated by Tennessee. A couple of big plays helped them amass 164 yards of offense. Crompton with an efficient and effective first quarter, 6 out of 8 throwing the football.
2 big plays to Lucas Taylor. Short throws, big runs.
Webb gets his tight end into Tennessee territory. That's Anderson with another grab. Give him 5. He'll be about 4.5 yards shy of the first down. Rico McCoy with his 3rd stop of the afternoon.
And really, this is what Joe Webb has to do, Dave. He has to try to find guys and kind of play the keyboard, if you will. There'll be people horizontally across the field. Just find them and try to move the chains. I think he's got to keep his offense on the field, keep Tennessee's offense off the field.
Little keeper read well by the Volunteers. I think Webb will be about 1.5 yards, 2 yards shy of that first down. Dan Williams from his tackle position, the junior out of Memphis, read it quite well.
Well, it's a good read by Webb. He's going to just go with a straight quarterback run through the middle and actually ran through the tackle of Dan Williams. Dan Williams had to hang on and makes it 4th and short. But I think you got to keep your offense on the field, Dave. I don't think this is a bad call at all to go for it.
And then they draw him off sides. Do the Blazers, and they'll get a free 5 and a first down. Dan Williams, the man we just spoke of. With the infraction.
Prior to the snap, contact offside by the defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty result in the first down.
Take a look at our Suzuki Motorcycles out-of-town scores.
How about that Maryland Cal score?
Duke has tied it up with Navy.
Cutcliffe running the offense, doing a good job. He's putting some points on the board. The Maryland team was a team that got beat by Middle Tennessee State last week, huh?
Justin Brooks in a tailback, but Webb will throw it. Lofts it up. Incomplete down at the 22-yard line. Carter, the intended target. Johnson on the coverage.
Well, this is Tennessee used to be known for is the getting after the pass. They have a tough time getting to the pass. Only 1 sack on the year, but good job of coverage down the field. Really no place to throw that one.
You know, John Chavis was telling us yesterday a lot of stock is put into those statistics, sacks. And he says, you know, you also got to count in sometimes when you disrupt a quarterback or an offensive flow. It may not register as a stat, but you're still effectively doing the same thing.
Saw it right there, Dave. Exactly what you're talking about. Get around the feet of Joe Webb, force the throw a little bit early, and it creates an incompletion. Let's go to Dave Baker.
Arch, take a look at the secondary as they get set up here. Primarily the second group of DBs, except for Eric Berry. And with UAB doing so much at the line, there was an awful lot of confusion in the secondary. These guys are turning around, talking to each other constantly, trying to get the right fit as it's still early in the season.
Yeah, and this is where Eric Berry and his experience of playing all 14 games last year, Buzz, has the ability to kind of translate what they want to do. He's quarterback in that secondary.
Setting up a screen. It goes to Mitchell. He'll pick up a first down. Good play call by Kim Helton. They'll move the football down to the 27-yard line of Tennessee. Alex Wilson drags him down.
It's the middle screen here. Let Tennessee come to the quarterback and then dump it over the top. Good job, the athleticism of the defensive line to get back and make the play, but a good call there by UAB.
Slaughter lines up a tailback once again. Aaron Johns, the starter, out with a rib injury on the first play of the game. Will not be back. Webb will keep it. Drops the football. It's free. And UAB will come out of there with it. Terrence Edge, the tackle out of Atlanta, Georgia, the sophomore. Right place, right time.
Again, just running Webb straight through the middle. He's your featured runner. And Wes Brown falls back to the inside and strips it out. But Edge, the big tackle, jumps on it and extends the drive for the Blazers.
UAB once again moving the football. We expected that they would have some success. And Slaughter will stand in the shotgun. He'll take the snap and hand it off to Justin Brooks, who bounces around and might have lost a couple of yards. We were told Slaughter would get a few snaps. Hey, Joe Webb, they asked Joe Webb to do so much that sometimes he just needs to catch his breath, and Slaughter would come in and give him that break.
No question about it. Justin Brooks carried the ball there. That's probably a play that Webb would probably carry it on. Just take the load off of him a little bit.
So Slaughter will stay in for another play at quarterback. The junior out of Adamsville, Alabama. He will keep it. Slaughter down to the 21-yard line. Alex Wilson trips him up.
Good penetration by Rico McCoy as well, but good job of running by Slaughter. They've run through a few tackles here, UAB Blazers have, as Joe Webb comes back into the game.
72 yards on this drive to this point, but it is 4th down and 3, and UAB thinking about going for it, and they will call a timeout and discuss their options. 10:18 to go in the second quarter. Well, before we could even come back and play, Tennessee takes a timeout to match UAB. Tennessee leads 14-0 here in the second quarter. Well, time to update our Alltel text station poll. We're asking you about which quarterback will have more yards of total offense, and you see the results as of right now. Jonathan Crompton out in front. Add your voice to the vote. Text your answer to S1 or S2 to 55333. 55333. That's S1 or S2 to 55333. We will keep you updated. And every time you see that flash on the percentage, somebody was texting in at that moment. Take a look at our total yards so far. Crompton leading that battle.
Get an assist from Lucas Taylor there?
Yeah, oh yeah, he gets a couple of assists.
He's made a couple big plays for Tennessee. Tennessee took a timeout on that last play because right before they took the snap, they spread Tennessee's defense out. Now a more conventional formation now for UAB, and Tennessee settles back into their normal defense.
All right, let's play some football. Joe Webb under center. Looking. He'll try to outrun an orange jersey. Can he do it? Yes, he can. First down and then some. How about Joe Webb? Are they going to say he ran out of bounds? They're going to say he stepped out of bounds at the 19. And now UAB turns it over on downs.
I thought he was going to throw the corner out. He had an open player to the right, but now Joe Webb's going to try to do it on his own. And this is an incredible effort just to get to the edge. But he stepped on the bound. Here's a great shot. Our guys are all over it.
He
stepped on the sideline right there. But what an effort to get to the sidelines. He gave the old dead leg to the Tennessee defense, but he couldn't turn the corner.
So Tennessee will take over from the 20. So Hardesty will get it out over the 25 to the 27, maybe 28-yard line. Well, you see what they did against UCLA in their opener. Not exactly the kind of drives you want to put together. 7 punts in that total of 14 drives. But today, a little bit different story.
Just did not win on third down, Dave. 29% against UCLA, 5 of 17.
Here's Hardesty trying to break a tackle of Kevin Sanders. Can't do it. Good play by Sanders, the senior out of Pell City, Alabama.
Boy, an excellent play by Sanders to keep Hardesty from turning up the field. Strung the play out. You'll see there he is, 21, just trying to stay in front of Hardesty and say, hey, come help me. And he gets a whole bunch of UAB Blazers to the ball.
That's a classic example. We hear it all the time. You got to turn him back inside.
Yeah, really a good job of stringing it out there by Kevin Sanders. And we talked about it, David, from the top. This is a team that they're going to have to gang tackle. We've seen him let Lucas Taylor get free a few times.
Third down and very short. Crompton will keep it out over the 30. That'll be a first down, but a flag comes in. Interesting on a keeper. A flag came in from our referee at the 21-yard line.
And from back there, it's usually a motion or an illegal formation when it comes from the referee.
Ken Williamson.
Illegal motion. Illegal shift on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Free third down.
I wonder if Hardesty might have popped up out of his stance before the snap. Regardless, it'll back up Tennessee 5 yards and make it third down and 5.5, maybe 6 yards.
Well, and it's one of those mental errors, Dave, if that's where the penalty came from, that he really didn't have anything to do with the play. It was just movement, because there's going to be a quarterback sneak. So that's a mental error that Philip Fulmer will not be pleased with.
He has not been pleased the last 10 days. Crompton. Scrambling. Now he has some room. And he gets swallowed up by some white jerseys. Nick Davison, a freshman out of Calhoun, Georgia, will get credit for that stop. And that'll bring up a 4th down.
Well, excellent job by UAB. They had a weak side flood, which means the short side of the field, they sent 3 receivers into that area, and UAB was all over the pass coverage. And then the rush finally got there. Nick Davison finally makes the play on Crompton as he scrambles.
Well, UAB rotating a lot of guys defensively today. Kevin Sanders makes a man miss. Sanders to the 40, runs into his own man, out to the 41-yard line. So Tennessee leads it by 2 touchdowns on a beautiful day here in Knoxville. We will return after word from your local stations. So 1st down and 10 for UAB at their 41-yard line. 7.5 minutes to go before halftime. Joe Webb back in at quarterback. Webb steps up, fires a strike across midfield to the 44-yard line of Frantrell Forrest. Good pitch and catch by the Blazers' Eric Berry on the coverage.
They've excellent protection up front. Joe Webb steps in and fires this one to his big-time target Forrest, but good job of picking up Nevin McKenzie, who was coming from the linebacker spot off the edge to give Webb time.
That gain of 15. Joe Webb having a decent afternoon. Now 7 out of 13 for 75 yards. Rushing the ball, 6 carries, 32 yards. He will throw again. Tough catch on the far side by Mario Wright. It'll be incomplete. Now to bring up 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, good pressure, Dave. You talked about it earlier. Just you don't get the sack every time, but if you can get around the quarterback's feet, this time forced a poor throw from Joe Webb. Looked like the Monte Bolden got in there and got around his feet.
This game's kind of strange. It just doesn't have any rhythm in it.
And that's much to the chagrin of the Tennessee coaches, because they wanted to have rhythm both offense and defense, and it just has not happened that way. And I think Joe Webb and his offense can credit that. They've kind of controlled the tempo of the game.
Webb stands in and fires. His pass is caught. What a catch. Mark Farrell with a great grab on the sideline. Demetrius Morley on the coverage. A gain of 20 on the play and another Blazer 1st down.
Tennessee playing a lot of 2 deep coverage where the safeties have to cover half the field, and this is that hole in between the corner and the safety. Great play to go up and get it by Farrell in front of Morley. Boy, that's a big time catch.
Slaughter is at quarterback. He will get a lead block from his running back Justin Brooks and take it inside the 20. Take a look at our Honda Red Zone, presented by Honda Generators for the ultimate tailgating experience. Or maybe not. 2nd down and 5, we'll call it.
Well, what it would say, Dave, is that UAB pretty efficient in the red zone. It's a team that can score some points. And a nice job of putting points on the board at 2 to 28 a game.
Here's Brooks. Stays on his feet down to the 12-yard line. And that'll be a 1st down. Wilson comes in to make the tackle. Gain of 7 on the play.
How about the effort of Justin Brooks in the open field? That's a break this tackle does, and is able to roll and get the 1st down. What an outstanding job of staying on his feet. That's Rico McCoy, outstanding linebacker here at Tennessee. And he's able to avoid that tackle and push it down inside the 15-yard line.
Webb back in. Slaughter stays in.
Here's where Tennessee is going to have to really watch Joe Webb on the quarterback draw.
There it comes. And Webb gets it inside the 10 down to about the 9. Eric Berry came up to lead the charge. There's our red zone look for this UAB offense so far this season. 5 touchdowns and 8 possessions. They've scored 7 out of 8 times. They've been pretty good down there.
They really have. And again, you can't harp enough on what Joe Webb brings to him because of his ability to throw it and run it. And that's why you're seeing Tennessee play a lot of zone coverage down here. When a lot of times you play man, they want to keep their eyes on number 5 because he will take off.
So Webb and Slaughter stand in the backfield. Webb back across the middle, picked off in the end zone. Eric Berry, his 2nd interception this season. And UAB gives it right back to the Vols as they were knocking on the door, but give a lot of credit to that man. 14 in orange as Berry made another big-time play.
Well, I talked about eyes being on number 5, and nobody's eyes are on him more than this guy. Eric Berry does a great job in center field. Here's Berry right there in the middle, and he just flows with the quarterback and steps in front of Forrest to make the play. Now, he's been so efficient today, and has really been efficient all year long. He just does not turn the football over. A good job by maybe the best safety in the country right there in Eric Berry.
But he did try to take it out of the end zone, so Tennessee at the half-yard line. Hardesty will get it out to about the 2.
Dave, this is an area where, as an offensive coordinator, a lot of them will take a shot here. They'll let their quarterback drop, put one of their receivers one-on-one and throw the deep route. Because defenses have a tendency to close in and get tight almost as if you were on your own goal line. And it presents an opportunity one-on-one on the outside for Crompton to get the ball to one of his big-time receivers.
Couple of tight ends. Hardesty, still your tailback. Crompton will throw to the near side, and he threw it in the dirt at the 5.
Threw it away, Dave. Made a point of throwing it away. The corner did an outstanding job of reading out there. Marquise Coleman, the freshman, did a great job of reading the out route and jumped all over it. So Crompton threw it in the ground.
So now here comes a 3rd down and 10. Ball sitting right between the 1 and the 2-yard line. UAB brings in an extra DB to go to their nickel package. Foster in at tailback. Looking for it all on 3rd down. Picked off at the 45-yard line. What a grab from Marquise Coleman. He just took it away from Lucas Taylor. What an interception. So UAB answers Tennessee. Back to Knoxville in a moment. 14-0 Tennessee out in front of UAB. Jonathan Crompton just throws an interception, basically a punt. Gets him out, backed up out of the end zone as you see our Academy Sports down and distance marker. 1st and 10 for UAB. We'll take a look at that interception in a moment. Here's Webb under pressure, fires, pass complete. I think they just got it back to the line of scrimmage. They might have actually lost a half a yard. But Dave, let's go back to that interception.
Well, it's a good job by the true freshman Marquise Coleman out of Chester, South Carolina, Chester High School. Here he is right here now. Watch him close and go up and take the ball at the highest point. Outstanding job there by the young man. Had 4 interceptions his senior year. He took 2 of them back for touchdowns, Dave.
Some solid research right there from Dave Archer. That stuff's not free, is it? Here's Webb. He keeps it and then stumbles. His knee hit the ground back at the UAB 48-yard line. We'll give Walter Fisher the sack. Loss of 7 on the play.
Webb's changing tires down there as he retools, brought the pit crew in and getting the tire change there. But he's a big kid, 6'4", 220 pounds, and boy, he just has a knack for making people miss. Tough to wrap the big guy up.
3rd and 18. 2 minutes to go before halftime. Set up a little screen for Jim Mitchell. Nothing doing for UAB, and they will have to punt it away.
Yeah, excellent job by Big Dan Williams from the D tackle spot. Just ate up the screen pass there and took it away.
Timeout. Tennessee, 3rd and final timeout of the half.
So the Volunteers will take a timeout to stop the clock to get the football back. Well, be sure to join us next Saturday at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central as Alabama heads over to Arkansas. Nick Saban's Tide has already turned some heads this season with the upset of Clemson back in week 1. Now Bobby Petrino will coach his SEC debut after 2 last-minute wins to start his season. So be sure to join us at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central, right here on Raycom Sports. And log on to raycomsports.com and click on the Regions Bank Road Trip Planner for the quickest routes and all the information you need traveling around the SEC.
Dave, that one has a chance to be a good one. Casey Dick's thrown for over 300 yards consecutive weeks for the Razorbacks.
What do you think that not playing a game today for Arkansas, they postponed the game with Texas this afternoon, make it up September 27th. Does that have any impact on a young team? Is that a good or a bad thing for the Hogs?
You know, I don't know, Dave. I think it's a great question. I think that they have a good feeling because they've come from behind. Now they haven't come from behind against Alabama, but they've come from behind to win games.
Well, we'll see the Hogs in person next week. Fair catch called for by Gerald Jones at the 10-yard line. Well, if you were with us at the top of our broadcast, you saw one of the hottest acts in music, Rascal Flatts, as they performed our open with Bob That Head off the album of Still Feels Good. The guys are on the road, and for all you Volunteer fans, mark this down. I know you've already done it. The weekend of October 24th, that Friday night, Rascal Flatts will be right here in Knoxville playing at Thompson Bowling Arena. Be sure to log on to rascalflats.com for more information. Barry LaVox, Joe Don Rooney, Jay DeMarcus, they know what they're doing. They're big, huge college football fans. Alabama's here that weekend.
Wow.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
they just pick out a good game, and they're going to have a concert that night.
They know how to schedule, don't they?
Here's Crompton out of the shotgun. Here's Taylor with a couple of big grabs and runs today out over the 15 to the 17-yard line. DJ Reese, or D tackle, tracks him down.
Yeah, he's been their mainstay on offense. Lucas Taylor catching those short throws and turning something big into them.
One thing the UCLA game did was give Tennessee an opportunity to run that quick no-huddle offense. They will try to work that here. The tight end Stocker with the grab out to the 27. That's a first down.
That's a kid that Coach Philip Fulmer is really high on. Luke Stocker, the tight end. You don't like to compare anybody to anyone really, but he said this guy has pass catching skills very similar to Jason Witten.
Wow.
The big-time tight end at Dallas.
Jeff Cottom still out with a bad back. Hope to have him back in a month or so. Crompton throws a nice out pass to Josh Briscoe. It's one of Crompton's better throws, I thought, today.
Well thrown ball, timing route to the outside on the out route to get the first down and get out of bounds. And Dave Clawson, this has got to be a great opportunity to get his quarterback in a rhythm. Because you talked about it earlier, Dave. It's been a little helter-skelter for them. They really haven't been able to get anything going.
Pressure comes, and Crompton throws it out of bounds. Crowd wants a flag. Nick Davison came in and hit Crompton.
Philip Fulmer's pulled the headset down and he's hollering out there. He didn't like the continuation. He didn't mind the hit, but then the continuation. He didn't like that at all. Nick Davison, that's the second time he's been wrapped around Crompton today.
Davison, a true freshman out of Calhoun, Georgia. 275-pounder. Crompton throws again. That'll be a flag. Looking for Gerald Jones. Sanders got there just a little early. He had outstanding coverage. Didn't need to hit him.
Yeah, he really did. And Gerald Jones trying to run that offset route where he starts into the middle and then kind of offsets to the outside to give his quarterback a throwing lane. But Sanders jumped the gun just a little bit, got there a little bit too early.
Pass interference on the defense, number 21. The penalty will be enforced at the spot of the foul. It includes an automatic first down.
Just a tad early. But you're right, Dave. He was in perfect position to make the play. Really didn't need to jump on Gerald Jones there.
First and 10, Tennessee, mark it to 46.
46 seconds to go. And a first and 10 from the 46. Brompton has time and dropped. The second time Luke Stocker has put it on the turf today when he should have had it.
Whenever you compare him against a great ball like Jason Witten, it happens every time. You got to drop one. Well thrown ball by Crompton. He does an outstanding job of waiting for his tight end to clear the backer and then let it go. Put it right on him, and that Stocker caught that. They'd had to tackle him before he got to the end zone because he was on his way.
Haven't seen much of Brandon Ward today at all. Transfer in from Florida State, a freshman All-American tight end. Second down and 10 with 40 seconds to play before halftime. Over the middle. That one could have easily been intercepted. Well behind Gerald Jones.
As good as his throw was to Stocker, this one was bad to Jones. Jones is trying to get in that same hole, and he just airmailed him on the throw. So now 3rd and 10 for this Tennessee offense.
Brompton now 9 out of 16 for 148 yards. He's misfired on his last 3 attempts. He was 6 of 8 for 119 in the first quarter. Third down. They'll set up a little wide receiver screen to Lucas Taylor, and he'll get it to the 45 of UAB, but that'll be shy by 2 yards to the first down marker. Philip Fulmer saying, hurry up, guys. We're going for it. Don't even think about it. Get to the line of scrimmage. Clock's moving. 19. Tennessee without any timeouts.
They come right back to Taylor at the bottom, wide open, a lot of room.
They'll go the other way with it. Pass is caught by Jones. That's a first down. He's trying to get out of bounds, can't do it, but the clock will stop to move the chains with 2 seconds to go.
You got to run up and kill it real quick if you're Crompton here.
I don't think you can do it. Half will be over with 2 seconds. I don't know. Can you do it in 2 seconds?
Be able to snap it in 1 second, kill it.
Matter of fact, he was so good the clock didn't even move. That's how good he is on that play. You can't practice that. You can't teach that.
That's
Prior to the snap, ball start on the offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
Which kills you because now the long field goal is not even an option. Now you'll have to throw the Hail Mary. So Crompton will line up some receivers, 3 or 4 receivers to one side, and throw it down in the end zone.
Boy, this has not been a good 2-minute drill, if you will, for Tennessee. And the clock started immediately, and that's it. One of the new issues to deal with, and that's Philip Fulmer having a word with Crompton as they head down to the locker room. But Tennessee will go to halftime with a 2-touchdown advantage over UAB. Let's go down and check in with Dave Baker. Guys.
Philip, you got a 2-touchdown lead, but not the way you wanted to finish the half of that drive.
Not really. We didn't handle the 2-minute exactly the way we wanted. Had a drop ball. We probably score.
Feel better about the consistency, though, in the first half?
A little better. We got to do better on defense. You know, they're making too many 3rd down plays.
All right, thanks, Philip. That's Philip Fulmer, anxious to get in and talk with his team at the half. They're up 14-0, but it doesn't feel like that if you're in orange and white. We're back at Neyland Stadium right after this. I don't think it was was one of those fatherly talks that took place at halftime around the table in the Tennessee locker room as the Vols find themselves on top, but not playing the way they want to, 14-0. Dave Neal, Dave Archer up in the booth to bring us the second half. And the guys, among the inconsistency, just no running game so far for the Vols.
Yeah, you know, Dave Archer, I thought that's what we were going to see more of. Let me put it in statistical terms for you. First 3 drives for Tennessee, 44 yards on the ground. Last 3 drives for Tennessee, just 12 yards on the ground. What do you make of that?
Well, let me provide a little bit more insight to that. This is a UAB team that was giving up 215 yards on the ground per contest the first 2 weeks, and we have not seen the Tennessee running game. Credit UAB for taking care of the football in the second quarter. They possessed it. The one other thing that sticks out at you is that Tennessee cannot convert on third down. 1 for 5. UAB was giving up 57% coming in.
Let's take a look at some of those first half highlights. And the first touchdown and the second one go to Gerald Jones.
Yeah, it's just Gerald Jones got lost in coverage there. Did a great job, and then this was an outstanding route. Made it an easy throw for Crompton to get to him in the back corner of the end zone. And really the only mistake UAB made in the first half was a careless throw by Joe Webb over the middle. And, of course, Eric Berry gets all of those.
Take a look at our Infinity first half statistics. And, you know, time of possession just completely dominated by UAB. Over 18 minutes in the first half, they had the football.
Well, that drive that ended in the Eric Berry interception was one of those drives. Long drive, ate up the second quarter. But they've done an outstanding job. And this Tennessee fans have not had a lot to hang their hat on today.
No, on a warm afternoon here at Neyland Stadium. Well, in the SEC, every yard can make a difference. Just ask the Volunteers this season. That's doubly true. Yesterday, we were on the Tennessee campus with several Knoxville area Regions associates to celebrate the Regions Bank Life Green Checking and Savings. As part of SEC Yards for Trees, Regions will plant a tree for each yard gained by both teams in this SEC Game of the Week. Now, to learn more, visit regions.com/green. It is halftime. We are moments away from second half football. Tennessee leads it by a couple of touchdowns. Neil Callaway and the Blazers hanging tough. We'll come back in a moment. It's a sunny day, but a warm day on the banks of the Tennessee. Crowd of just shy of 100,000 on hand as Tennessee leads 14-0 over UAB. Dave Baker caught up with Neil Callaway.
Neil, I'm telling you, got the offense going pretty well there for a while. Got to play some keep away from him, just couldn't get in the end zone.
We couldn't. We've got down in there twice. You know, maybe I should have cut the points on fourth down, but I really felt like we could make it. But we've moved the ball offensively. We just got to start getting some touchdowns.
All right, thanks, Neil. We appreciate that. That's Neil Callaway, Dave.
Well, SEC football here on Raycom Sports is presented in high definition where available. Well, just to get some specifics in terms of statistics, Arian Foster, 6 carries, 40 yards, averaging 6.7 yards a carry. You know, in 2 games, 19 carries, over 130 yards. You know, it begs the question,
where is he?
Right.
Yeah, and I would think that Arian Foster's thinking the same thing, and so are those people.
Well, the SEC's Together We Can Drive, supporting Regional Food Bank, runs from September 19th through the 28th. Student athletes will be collecting canned goods at home athletic contests and in the community during those 10 days. So if you're planning to attend an SEC game from the 19th through the 28th, bring a donation that will help your local food banks. It's run by the Student Athlete Advisory Committee members from each SEC institution. You can check with each school and SEC websites. Josh Briscoe, very involved in the community. So he did last year, 56 grabs, just shy of 10 yards a catch. Today, Josh still looking for, well, actually has 1 catch for 12 yards.
And he had the monster day for him in the SEC title game last year, Dave. 8 receptions, almost 80 yards, and kept Tennessee in that one right to the end against the eventual national champs.
So UAB will kick it off to start the second half. First half possessions, boy, really stalled there. A punt, interception, and then the clock ran out on them.
They got a couple of times where they had the short field and just they cashed one of them in, one of them they did not. Had nice long drive of 65 yards, but other than that, UAB's defense has done a pretty good job.
Denarius Moore, Dennis Rogan back deep. It will be Moore. And he falls forward out over the 30-yard line. That's where Tennessee will take it. And as Crompton comes back in to run this Tennessee offense, Dave, your thoughts about him in terms of, you know, we talked about a lack of flow. does that affect a quarterback as well?
No question about it, and I think some of it stems from Crompton. I think that he is having a tough time figuring out what it is they need to do offensively, where he needs to distribute the ball, extend drives. They're 1 for 5 on 3rd down. A lot of that stems from the quarterback position.
Now, he has made a couple of nice throws, and his tight end Stocker's dropped him. His numbers aren't horrendous, but there just hasn't been much of a flow offensively. Pass is caught. Lucas Taylor having a nice afternoon. Taylor now with his 6th catch already, over 100 yards. Well, she had a long of 48 back in the first half. That one picks up 8.
If you're going to throw it, there's not a better guy to throw it to than Gerald Jones or Lucas Stocker. They do a great job. Lucas Taylor, my bad. I call him Lucas Stocker. He's Lucas Taylor. How can we forget that name? He had an outstanding first half.
Motion by Tennessee. Taylor flip-flops the field, goes to the wide side. Out of the I formation, here's Foster. He will fall forward and get the first down out at the 43-yard line.
A good extra effort by Arian Foster, and you got to feel that at some point Arian Foster is going to be the guy they're going to put the game in his hands. Now, he leaves the field now, but that he's going to get a chance to carry the football. Dave, you mentioned the fact that he's averaging about 7.3 yards a touch running it, counting this game in UCLA.
We talked to him yesterday. You see him shaking his head. And, he's a young man that wants it 20 times. I think every running back does. Lucas Taylor on that grab gets about 8 before he's brought down by Marquise Coleman.
I would think the conversation that happened in the locker room with Crompton, the quarterback, and Dave Kloss and Philip Fulmer is, okay, let's find what we do best, and let's do those things, and let's get something going. You mentioned the rhythm. Some of that has to do with those quick hitting passes like you just saw there. Let's get Foster off. Let's get Hardesty off, and let's start looking like a Tennessee offense.
Saw some of our Woodman scores. As Foster, flag comes in late, however, after Foster picks up the first down to the 40-yard line. Give him a gain of 9. And a hold against Tennessee.
Holding on the offense, number 78. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 2nd down.
The 6th penalty against Tennessee this afternoon. Well, be sure to go to Yahoo Sports to see over 50 Raycom Sports SEC football and basketball games. And for only $4.95 a month, you can hear thousands of audio broadcasts. Be sure and follow your team all season long at Yahoo Sports.
Hey, you see the grab, the jersey being pulled off the back of the defender there.
Crompton hit as he throws. Passes nearly picked off. It was right in the arms of Will Dunbar. And he couldn't hang on.
They got great pressure through the middle. Dunbar comes up and breaks it up, but it's because of the pressure through the middle and around Crompton's legs. He has to let it go way before you see Stocker coming out of the break, and that's one that Will Dunbar be the first guy to tell you, I should have squeezed that one and been going the other way. He's still shaking his head. All Conference USA performer right there.
Especially a guy out of Lakeside High School in Atlanta. We're known to catch those.
Yeah, you guys don't drop interceptions.
Will, out of Atlanta, went to my high school. Had to give a little love to Lakeside. Of course, we weren't there at the same time. Pass is caught on the far side. That should be good enough for a first down. It went to Lucas Taylor, who is quickly becoming the favorite target here of Jonathan Crompton. How many catches is that now for Lucas Taylor? That'll be 8 catches this afternoon. Wow.
And Philip Fulmer stepped off the sidelines and slapped his hands together and said, let's go. Let's get it going. They got it first down there. And he's trying to do everything he can do to motivate this offense, get it going.
And Crompton held on to it. A little play fake to Foster. UAB wasn't buying it. Brian Turner from his defensive end position throws Crompton to the ground.
Well, just doesn't buy, like you said, Dave, does not buy the bootleg fake. Could have got a little help from his tight end if he'd gotten the block. Maybe Kevin Cooper, I'm sorry, the fullback, should have got a block on Turner to allow Crompton to get to the edge. But good job by Turner to stay at home and make the play on the boot.
After that loss of 9, it'll set up. So we'll say the loss of 9. Crompton will throw. That's incomplete. Austin Rogers, the intended target.
Now, Jonathan Crompton is the guy that's under the microscope here. Did an outstanding job early of getting the ball to Gerald Jones. 2 touchdown passes. But here's the interception. Actually, an outstanding play by the freshman corner to make that play. That was a well-thrown ball. But it's an okay day numbers-wise, but there's a lot of, he's got to meet a lot of expectations, especially what Eric Ames did here over his career.
14 of those completions have gone, or 8 of those 14 have gone to Lucas Taylor. That one's picked off. Kevin Sanders holds on.
Now, Dave, this is a mistake by Crompton because Gerald Jones hooks up over the ball and is open, no one around him, and Crompton forces this ball down the field. And Kevin Sanders steps in front and makes the play.
9 career interceptions for Kevin Sanders, the senior out of Pell City, Alabama, gives the Blazers the ball. Smokey breathing heavy because they can't shake UAB right now. 14-0. Tennessee out in front. Philip Fulmer having a chat with some guys he knows something about, the offensive line. After the interception, Joe Webb and company take over. First pass is caught by Slaughter. He gets 8 on the play before he's bumped out of bounds by D'Angelo Willingham.
Dave, every team has this route, flat with an in route. Now, as a quarterback, you have to read it. Now, we're going to freeze it and show you where Crompton, the player he has to read to make this throw. Right there, the safety, the strong safety, folds back to the inside to get the interception. That should have been a ball in the flat and a completion.
Handoff to Slaughter. He gets the first down and a whole lot more. He steps out of bounds at the 34-yard line of Tennessee. Willingham runs him out of bounds again. So UAB's had a chance to catch their breath offensively. This was a group that had the ball for 18 minutes in the first half, Dave. You talk about defenses getting tired. I think the break between intermission and then that drive certainly given some fresh legs to the Blazers.
Well, they going in just down 14, Dave, they had to feel really good about themselves and the way they controlled the ball in the second quarter. And this defense has got to find a way to stand up and make a play for Tennessee.
Little option. Joe Webb keeps it for the 31. Alex Wilson in on the tackle for Tennessee. Speaking of Alex, he's our Polaris ATV toughest player of the game. You had a chance to talk to him, Dave, before yesterday's walkthrough. What a sharp guy he is.
Yeah, not just tough physically, but tough mentally. 38 games he played in before he got his first start last year in the bowl game, and then he started last week at UCLA. He's the guy that everybody looks to for inspiration.
They'll swing it back to the tight end. Langford gets hit. Not much happening on that play. A lot of orange jerseys flying around, led by Dennis Rogan. Rogan, the sophomore out of Knoxville.
This little screen to the backside to the tight end. A nice job by Rogan to come up and beat the block and get his head around the legs of the tight end. Of course, a conversion situation.
So a 3rd down and 6. You in 2-down territory right here?
I think you have to be, Dave. I think that UAB's done such a good job of controlling the ball and doing a good job on 3rd and 4th down. I think you have to be 2 down.
Webb. Pass is bobbled, and is it picked off? Yes, it is. They will say no. Dennis Rogan thought he had it. The pass intended for Mario Wright.
Well, it's a good decision by Webb. Throws the slant backside, and you can't throw it any better than that. Just put it on your receiver, and that's one that Wright has to squeeze. Because if he squeezes it, you see the ball touch the ground before Rogan can get the arms underneath. Yeah, down on the ground. A great job by our guys to get that shot.
47-yard field goal by an excellent kicker in Swayze Waters, whose long is 48. Or excuse me, 52, which came last year, so he's got an excellent leg. And hammers that one home. No problem at all. UAB is on the board after an interception by Kevin Sanders that set it all up. 14-3, Tennessee out front. 14-3, Tennessee out in front, but UAB gets on the board as we look at that Texas Pete scoring summary. 6 plays, 27 yards, and a 47-yard field goal by Swayze Waters. Kickoff sails into the end zones. Tennessee will bring it out to the 20. Well, all season long, Champion Apparel will be showcasing the tradition and history of the SEC. And today, one of the great traditions in all of college football. Every home game here at Neyland Stadium begins with the band's formation on the field and the team running out through the T. The tradition began when Doug Dickey was the Vols head coach, and the Pride of the Southland band formed and opened the T for the first time in a game against Army back in 1969. And that's our champion, how you play. Coach Dickey saw him here this weekend. Coach Majors also on hand. A big day as they opened up a brand new Letterman's Club in the end zone here at Neyland Stadium. Arian Foster making some people miss and making some people pay. He picks up a first down after a gain of 15. Terrell Springs drags him down.
Well, it's an excellent job. The offensive line are going to pull the backside guard, get the block. Fullback's supposed to kick that guy, but Arian Foster makes him miss, makes Henderson miss, and then just gets up the field. Dunbar comes in and tries to help get him on the ground. Good job by Arian Foster.
So they'll give it to Foster again. He's hit at the line of scrimmage. Keon Harris steps up, makes the play. Let's go downstairs, check in with Dave Baker.
Hey, Dave, you know, besides being the head coach at Tennessee, the most challenging job in this state might be being the offensive coordinator at Tennessee. Ask David Cutcliffe, ask Randy Sanders, and now it's Dave Clawson, a guy who comes from up east. And Dave Archer, this is an entirely different thing that they're doing. They've got this history and tradition of drop-back passing, Peyton Manning throwing the digs and the slants and everything, and now they're trying to spread the field, and they are having some real trouble finding rhythm. And as you can hear, the faithful are a little rattled.
And that's Luke Stocker, his third drop of the day. He's a guy that they really like, but he's just not going to get a chance to play, Buzz. And to talk about Coach Fulmer. Coach Fulmer, there you see him running over and talking to Stocker, Buzz. Coach Fulmer says he's let Dave Clawson have full autonomy of this offense.
Stocker, the sophomore out of Berea, Kentucky, having some issues today. You feel for a young man in a situation like that. They'll set it up to Foster. Arian breaks a tackle into UAB territory. Arian Foster, Dave, is making a case to give him the football. Seems like
and Dave, last year he averaged touching the football in about that 20 range. He'd catch 2 or 3 balls, 17 carries. He's an accomplished receiver out of the backfield. Does a great job on the screen here. Gets a tremendous block down the field. And Arian Foster's the guy that has to have the ball in his hands, Dave, and he just has not touched it enough yet this year.
You and I watching tape yesterday, and we both said, boy, this guy could really be a super NFL-type player with his abilities in a lot of areas. But you were impressed with his ball-catching ability out of the backfield?
He's a back that does it all. He can block, catch it, and run it.
Our 1st and 10 line brought to you by IKBI Incorporated, IGBI, building vision, building relationships.
Well, they're filling Arian Foster up in this series. He's caught the ball. He's run it twice. And their bread is buttered with their big offensive line up front and letting Foster and Hardesty run it.
There he goes again, Arian Foster to the 20, to the 10, run out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Chase Daniel chased him out of bounds. Again at 31.
Sorry, Dave. Outstanding hole off the right side. They crush down the defense, and then Arian Foster makes Dunbar miss in the hole, and that's the leading tackler in Conference USA right there that he made miss. Big run, Arian Foster. This has been his drive. He's done an outstanding job of picking up his offense.
Foster now with 100 yards rushing on 12 carries. First and goal, Crompton. Off to Hardesty. Off the left side. Touchdown, Tennessee. Hardesty scores it, but you should give the 6 to Foster.
Foster and those big boys up front. You're exactly right, Dave. Arian Foster got him down inside the 10-yard line. The big fellas up front, Chris Scott, Anthony Parker, Josh McNeil, McClendon, and Foster. Good job up front. They really took the game in their hands on this drive.
Boy, what a hole. And then Hardesty with a nice job breaking a tackle. One after is up and good by Daniel Lincoln. 21-3 now. Tennessee answers the UAB field goal with a nice scoring drive.
Hardesty stuck it in the end zone. That's his 3rd touchdown rushing on the year. Got 2 against UCLA a couple of weeks ago. But Arian Foster with 3 good runs and then the really good job on the screen pass to get it down there. Allow Tennessee to go up.
Well, next week, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central. Same time as usual. Alabama heads over to Arkansas. Nick Saban's Alabama team has already turned plenty of heads around the country with that big win over Clemson in week 1. And Bobby Petrino will coach in his SEC debut after 2 last-minute wins to start the season. So plan on being with us 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central Time. And log on to SECRoadTripPlanner.com and find the quickest routes and all the information you need for traveling around the SEC, provided by Regions Bank. Texas Pete scoring drive, 80 yards, just shy of 2.5 minutes. Hardesty from 6 yards out caps off the drive.
Now that looked a little bit more like what we expected from Tennessee. They loaded it up on their strength, their offensive line and their running backs, and rode it down the field.
Chad Cunningham will kick it off. It's a short kick. Forrest making some people miss. Good return after the 38-yard line. And a flag comes in at the 35.
Return, block in the back, receiving team number 80, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, 1st and 10.
Well, Dave Archer, Joe Webb today, 13 out of 22, 112 yards, also has carried it 9 times. I've been impressed.
Yeah, I have been too, and he's a guy that plays at a really easy tempo. He just flows with the game. Done a great job. He's averaging 250 yards or just under throwing the football. That was the one mistake he made today, the interception to Eric Berry, but had 136 yards rushing on opening day against Tulsa. He's a do-everything guy, and he certainly has done everything he can do to keep UAB close in this game.
He'll carry it here right into the teeth of that big orange defense. Ben Martin stops him. Might have gotten a half a yard. We'll give him 1 on the carry.
The last guy, David, I can remember this accomplished it playing quarterback, running it, and then playing receiver. You got to go back to Hines Ward at Georgia.
Hey, good one.
I mean, he really is that kind of guy. I remember Hines was the receiver his junior year, and then his senior year had to take over at quarterback and had an outstanding year.
Joe Webb. Oh, my. That should have been 6 going the other way. Rico McCoy had his big paws on it. Couldn't corral it.
Well, again, Tennessee is playing zone coverage, and so those linebackers have their eyes on the quarterback, and he's breaking on that underneath route. Good job by McCoy to be where he's supposed to be, but that'll be one when he gets back to his room tonight he'll be dreaming about.
2 out of 9 today for UAB in third down opportunities. They came into this game at 50% in their first 2 games, 16 out of 32. Webb will throw it. That's Forrest, but he backpedaled and may have lost the first down. He needed to get out over the 41, and that's where he was. And then his little spin back might have cost him the first down.
And I think if you were UAB here, Dave, you got to consider going for this. I know you're on your own 35-yard line, and they're going to kick it away, but certainly got to think about it.
They need about 3/4 of a yard for the first down. But Forrest, you see where he caught it. He was already across the first down line.
Yeah, and that's the momentum bringing him back. All good receivers are taught to come back to their quarterback, and that's just him trying to finish the play.
Swayze Waters with a high kick. What's a good coverage kick. Fair catch called for, and Dennis Rogan will catch it. So Tennessee will come out and take over at the 24-yard line. With that, there's a break of the action. Tennessee 21, UAB 3. Back after work from your local stations. Gorgeous day, but a warm day here in Knoxville, where Tennessee leads at 21-3. Volunteers take over the 24-yard line. Montario Hardesty in at tailback. Brompton will hand it off to Hardesty. Runs right into Anthony Barnes, junior out of Hazelhurst, Mississippi. But Arian Foster on the sidelines on the last drive, Dave, accumulated 74 of the 80 yards on that drive.
Dave, he's a senior running back, an all-SEC performer, and we talked to him yesterday, and you could see it in his eyes. He had a chance to maybe go to the National Football League last year, but he came back for one reason. That was to win an SEC championship, is what he said. And, boy, he looked like an SEC champion on this drive as he got him down there, and Hardesty cashed it in. But Arian Foster doing a great job. Just 4 yards shy of 100 against UCLA 2 weeks ago.
And with 100 here today, that pass is caught by the fullback Kevin Cooper. Not much happening on that play, but Cooper opened up. He was a big factor against UCLA. He caught 4 balls out of the backfield for them.
Well, whenever you have this kind of passing game where you got a controlled passing attack, your fullback has got to be able to catch the football, because you're going to work off play action. Normally the fullback's going to be open in the flat for some of those cheapy throws, and that's where they got that one there.
3rd down and 8. Throwback, trying to hit Taylor. He will pick up the first down, and then he is run out of bounds by Terrell Springs, the true freshman.
Well, it's an outstanding job on the outside. They've run this play a number of times. You got to get the big fellas out in front blocking. They look like Anthony Parker, the all-SEC performer, got out in front, got the block on Matt Taylor. You see Fulmer's excited about it. Boy, he likes the effort. That's the big fella, 300 pounds, getting out in front, getting the block for Taylor.
Gerald Jones also a nice job on the outside, too, pinning his guy against that boundary. 1st down and 10. Blocked by Hardesty. Frees up his quarterback, but that pass is dropped. Denarius Moore, the intended receiver. Devin Sanders on the coverage.
Well, part of this package, Dave, is about finding something for Crompton. Crompton, he's got his numbers are okay. He's thrown a couple of picks in this game. And I know his head coach is trying to find a way to get him in some kind of rhythm. He knows he can run it. But they've got to find, to beat the teams in the SEC, they're going to have a mix, and they're trying to find a way to get Crompton in the rhythm.
There's Hardesty. He's close to the first down on 2nd down and 10. Henderson and Luker drag him down. Look at our Woodman scores, and David Cutcliffe in a battle.
Kind of a renewed feeling in Durham for the Dukies with Cutcliffe there.
Compton will pick up the first down over midfield. Tennessee with 124 yards on the ground. They've held UAB to 54.
Hey, there's an opportunity now, and it's a guy I know you're excited about. We talked about him yesterday with Philip Fulmer. Lennon Freer comes in the game. It's a guy they wanted to get some rushes to, kind of a home run threat from the tailback spot.
Sophomore out of Tatum, Texas. Didn't see any action against UCLA. Here's Jones in motion. A toss sweep to Freer. He is swarmed at the 45-yard line. Well, the announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Raycom Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Raycom Sports is prohibited.
Tennessee's doing a good job of alternating on the offensive line. That time, Ramon Johnson had come in. He's an extra tackle, came in and lined up at the tight end spot to get a little bit more bulk off that right side. Now they go back to a conventional look.
There goes Lennon Creer. Nobody will touch him, and there's your home run, Dave Archer. 45 yards.
Well, it's an outstanding job. Whenever you get that kind of crease through the middle, that the offensive line is going to provide that. And boy, they've really leaned on this big offensive line. McClendon is going to get the block on Drew Miller, and that's what Freeze cleared. And he gets down to the right sideline. Lennon Creer talked about him, Dave. Big speed. Philip Fulmer said we got to find a way to get him in the game, get him some touches. Well, that'll endear him to his head coach. He'll get a few more with that.
Point after is up and good. UAB's defense has been pretty good today. The big play has been their downfall through the first 2.5 games, and they give up another big one there to Lennon Creer. 210-pounder with excellent speed. Just his second touch of 2008. He takes it 45 yards for the touchdown. Offensive line the last 2 drives has also stepped up to the task. I think that we saw coming out of one of the commercial breaks, we saw Coach Fulmer really get on his guys, and they have certainly stepped up and helped Creer with the home run.
Here's your guy right here. He's going to get the block. It's going to allow Creer to get right in there. There's the block right there. Picked out the wrong guard, my bad. But McClendon does a great job of folding from that left side to get the block on Drew Luker, the freshman corner, the freshman linebacker. There he is, big 65 out in front. And Creer's one of those kind of guys, Dave, in the open field. You see him all over the SEC. You're not going to catch him in the open field.
Forced from the 1. Rantrell this time, he's had a pretty good game returning kicks. Stopped shy of the 20. Denarius Moore led the way for the Big Orange. So UAB will come back out with 91 seconds to go here in the third quarter. It was a 14-0 halftime advantage for Tennessee. It's now 28-3.
Well, UAB's got to get back to doing what they're doing in the first half. They've got to control the clock, move the chains, take those little chunks of yardage, 3-4 yards, and try to stay on the field as an offense.
Wrapped up in a hurry was Frantrell Forrest. Eric Berry comes flying in.
We talked to Eric Berry yesterday, Dave, and his growth from a freshman. He had a great freshman year, but his growth, you can already see, he sees things just a count quicker already as a sophomore, and that play was all over it and flat.
Webb will tuck it and run. He will pick up the first down. For more on Eric Berry, let's check in with our own playmaker, Dave Baker.
Hey, Dave, I thought one of the best stories we've heard in a while was yesterday was when John Chavis was talking about what Eric Berry did last year. You know, obviously he's picked up some stuff from his dad, who was a great here at Tennessee in the 80s. But Chavis said when he played here, he'd be in defensive meetings. Coach would go, "You understand, John? You understand?" He said he shook his head, "Yep, yep, yep." Said he didn't understand any of it. He just went out and played. He said that's what Berry did last year, but he's not only playing now, but understanding as well.
Flag down, pass is caught across midfield, but thinking that'll come back. Darrell Harris was the target.
Well, that's one of those ones where Joe Webb was in survival mode, and the offensive line was just trying to help him. They reached out and grabbed somebody, or illegal block, but wanted to screen right, faked it, and we're going to throw the fade down the left sideline. But Tennessee did a great job of taking it away.
Holding on the offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
So Neil Callaway, you know, we have spent so much time with him over the years. Of course, at Georgia was the offensive line coach, the offensive coordinator before coming over here. Of course, he's been around the block. Played at Alabama, also coordinator over there. And, you know, he's just trying to build this thing up. And, you know, he's a class or two away from where he thinks they should be physically. And a flag comes down way back at the 10-yard line.
And Nevin McKenzie came on the blitz from the linebacker spot and put a little pop on Joe Webb. McKenzie 20, blitzing through the middle, and just kind of shoved him, and Webb gets a little handful of the face mask.
I was going to say, you know, Joe Webb turns around to our referee and says that.
Number 5 of the offense. 15 yards. The previous spot. Repeat first down.
He was trying to plead his case to Ken Williamson. I didn't really grab it, but kind of hard to overlook that one. So they'll back it up half the distance to the goal line. Remember, there is no 5-yard penalty for a face mask anymore. They're all 15-yarders. So first down and forever. First down markers out at the 44-yard line. And that will be the end of the third quarter. Tennessee puts a couple of touchdowns on the board in the third quarter to take a 28-3 lead. We will return for the fourth quarter after this. Back at Neyland Stadium, 98,000 on hand today. Watching Tennessee open up the 2008 season, the 87th year they have played here at Neyland Stadium. 28-3, Tennessee out in front. Not the largest crowd in this building. 109,061 back in 1994 against Florida. 109,000 jammed in here.
It's a beautiful place.
Joe Webb, some running room. Joe breaks a tackle and bumped out of bounds. He nearly picked up a first down. It was 1st and 32. Now he brings up relatively second and short compared to what it was, 2nd down and 8.
Dave, I don't think I've seen Philip Fulmer this demonstrative on a sideline ever. He's running out, yelling at guys, trying to pump people up. Morley misses the tackle there, but 6'4", 220 pounds ran through that tackle. Boy, he has been active on that sideline.
Picked off. Alex Wilson. And then a late hit. Pressure came from Nevin McKenzie. And then Wilson standing in midfield. Got the early Christmas gift.
That's a great job by Alex Wilson, because he does a good job of doing what he's supposed to do. And this is what Phil Fulmer wants him to do. There's the pressure, but in a veteran linebacker's in the zone where he's supposed to be, the quarterback throws it in there and then he catches it when it comes. And this is really what all they're looking for from these guys. when you hear this coaching staff talk is be in the right spot and make sure you make the play when you're there. 6 tackles, an interception, a pressure, a tackle for loss. Alex Wilson has been everywhere.
During the return, the block in the back. Return team number 84. 10-yard spot of the foul.
Wow.
It'll be 1st and 10.
So we had a little late hit, but it was not that at all. They had a lengthy discussion about the actual violation, and they will back up Tennessee to the 44-yard line, but the Vols will take it. 6th interception this season by this Tennessee defense. 2 of those by linebackers, 4 of those by the secondary. Take a look at our stats through 3 quarters presented by the new AT&T, and now Tennessee is starting to rack up some offensive yards. Almost 400 through 3 quarters.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. It remains 1st down.
Jonathan Crompton, 17 out of 29, 222 yards today. He is one of 6 new quarterbacks starting in the Southeastern Conference. Actually, if you add up everybody that started, between Chris Dodd, Cody Burns, Tommy Beecher, and Chris Smelly, there are quite a few new faces. Mike Hartline is already sharing some time. They were hoping he could be the guy to take the reins at Kentucky, but they have gone a different direction as well. Hartline's still seeing plenty of snaps, however. Here's Creer. Creer, you think he's vying for some more action? No carries against UCLA. 3 carries today. That one goes for 11. Actually make it 19.
Big fella Ramon Foster, the offensive tackle that side, gets a good block to seal the edge. Get the speedy Creer on the outside. Yeah, Dave, his few times touching it, he's made something happen, so certainly would like to be in the game a little bit more.
So 3 carries and 66 yards for Lennon Creer. Crompton throws, passes caught. That's Brandon Warren, the tight end, with his first grab this afternoon. And the crowd clapping because the tight ends made a grab today.
That was a high fastball from Crompton, too. Did a good job of squeezing it. It's one that Stocker dropped a couple times today, Dave.
Brandon Warren, of course, we mentioned the transferred in from Florida State. He was a 2006 All-American down in Tallahassee. 28 catches there with 300 yards. Came back to Knoxville to be with his sick mother. Lennon Creer picks up the first down to the 31-yard line. Gain of 8 for Creer.
Really, the Tennessee offensive line is kind of taking control of the game, Dave, and that's really what they needed to do. It's a strengthened football team. These guys only gave up 4 sacks all of last season, only 1 this year, and they've done a nice job of running the football. Arian Foster, 1,200 yards last year. They're running again good this year.
Here's Creer down to the 26-yard line. I think in the second half, if we have seen what this offense can be, what we expected it to be. It has been, I don't know if it's a tempo thing or a play calling issue, but it seems like there's just much more fluidity with these guys. Everybody's running with a little bit more pep in their step, a little bit more crispness.
And I think it came from whatever talk was handed down to the offensive line. I think that's where it has to start. Big fellas up front have to control the football game physically and let these skill guys do their thing.
Here's Moore. Needed to break a tackle, takes it inside the 15. That'll be a first down. Springs holding on.
This is something they kind of needed to see, Dave, as they get ready for the Gators next week. Is they needed to see some of the stuff that would let them hang their hat on throwing it and running it. His quick passing game out the outside of these skill guys are what Crompton does extremely well. He gets the ball out of his hands quickly and lets them run.
Greer bouncing around inside the 10 to the 8. Look at the red zone, powered by Honda generators for the ultimate tailgating experience.
That's what you're looking for right there. 100% touchdowns.
Yeah.
That pleases a coordinator, a coach, pleases your fan base. Anytime you get in the red zone, you punch it in for a touchdown. That's what you're looking for.
Here goes Greer on a little toss sweep. Close to the first down, with sitting at about the 4-yard line. Joe Henderson with his 5th tackle today.
Good job by Kevin Cooper, the fullback out in front of Greer. He kind of had to eat the shoe duster tackle from Will Dunbar coming up. Good job by Cooper to get on. Cooper's going to be coming right at you, number 45, and here comes Dunbar, the safety, try to take him out. So he does everything he can do to make sure that Dunbar doesn't get into his running back career.
Sets up a 1st and goal situation. And off. Greer cuts it back. Touchdown. Lennon Greer, 8 carries, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. Welcome to the game, Lennon Greer.
And Dave, we mentioned at the beginning of the game that this size differential between Tennessee's offensive line and this defensive front 7 for UAB would eventually grind them to a halt. And it has. The size just pushing UAB around. 40 pounds a man. Tennessee outweighs UAB across the front.
Point after up and good. 35-3. Tennessee now leading here in the 4th quarter. They lost that year to the Auburn Tigers. Kickoff after the 25 for Antrell Forrest. Then don't forget, big game for the Dogs. They enter SEC play today against South Carolina. Coming up in about half hour or so.
One of those teams that has been a stitch in Georgia's side over the last couple of years.
You and I get to conference play next week as we head over to Fayetteville to see the Crimson Tide and the Hogs.
Really excited about that matchup. What Nick Saban has been able to do with his young group of players.
The wide receiver screen, good call as pressure came, but not much happening. Tennessee playing pretty good defense there. Let's go downstairs, check in with Dave Baker. Bus.
You know, Dave, the score's gotten a little out of hand right now, but as you talk about what this UAB team is doing, you know, Neil Callaway's got that experience at the big-time level that we talked about. He said last year they only had about 60 scholarship players. This year about 68. And the 2 places where you can tell that depth has really hurt today has been defense and on special teams, where they've gotten penalized so much and cost themselves so much field position. But as he gets those numbers up, you can see that he's got a coaching staff that they're comfortable with in a scheme that could be a winner at Conference USA.
And Buzz, what they're doing with their facilities there in Birmingham with the new weight room and everything, he's extremely excited about what they're doing.
You know, we talked to him a little bit about, you know, you come from Georgia and Alabama where you got these astronomical budgets to work with, and he says it's a little bit obviously less at a UAB, but they maximize every one of their dollars over there. And he said he couldn't be prouder of what the administration is doing for him in terms of putting some of that money into his football program so he can go out and get some of those big recruits.
Yeah, and Coach Callaway knows what it's about. I mean, you mentioned his lineage here in the SEC, so he knows what a big-time program's about, and he'll get it done.
Webb. This guy's been getting it done as much as he can. First down, Joe Webb. A junior out of Birmingham. Picks up the first down after the 8-yard gain. Joe Webb today, statistically speaking, has carried it 13 times for 73 yards.
Yeah, this is just a scramble here, Dave, and this is part of that rushing stat that you just talked about. And his ability to make sure he doesn't take the big hit, too, his body motion just to flow. Incredible.
scuffle going on after that play. Dan Williams, number 55 in orange, involved. See what transpired after the end of this play. A left and a right by Dan's what inspired the reaction from Slaughter.
He's just reminding them that they are along the banks of the Tennessee. And
right.
This is his house.
Out of the shotgun. Here's Forrest. Boy, he's a big-time player. Stiff arms one, can't stiff arm two. And a big pickup down to the 33-yard line before Adam Myers-White runs him out of bounds. But Morley got was the recipient of this nice stiff arm.
Well, you know when your opponent talks about you with glowing remarks the way Philip Fulmer talked about Forrest. He said this guy is as good as anybody in the country. You saw it right there with a stiff arm to safety to extend that run.
30-yard gain. Justin Brooks in at tailback for the Blazers. Big hole on the left side. Gain of about 6. Kim Helton, the former head coach at Houston, the offensive coordinator, longtime friend of Neil Callaway running the offense for UAB, and we had a chance to talk to him at length earlier this week. And he wanted one of the things he talked about was the fact that he's still got a lot of friends and family over in that Houston area, and it's been kind of weighing on him a little bit.
I would think that anybody has people over there obviously very concerned, and he wanted us to pass on the best and let them know that he was saying a prayer for them, that they would get through things okay.
That pass is picked off by D'Angelo Willingham at the 4-yard line, looking for Wright. And Willingham just read it and played it well and picked up the interception, his second this season. Tennessee will have it when we come back here in the fourth quarter. By the way, you thought that was a sound effect. That's Dave Archer in the background.
Yeah, that was good.
35-3, new quarterback. Nick Stevens checks in. Nick, the sophomore out of Flower Mound, Texas. Also Poole, the true freshman out of Toccoa, Georgia, getting his first carry. Thorin Poole, 5'10", 200 pounds. Nick Stevens, political science major. Actually caught a touchdown pass last year on a 3-yard reception. Or excuse me, I'm reading Luke Stocker's bio.
He hadn't played at all here at Tennessee, but he did a great job in high school. He threw for 24 touchdowns his senior year, so he's a guy who can throw the ball.
Not much happening.
And this is part of the problem, Dave, when you start talking about the depth at quarterback, is Crompton really the only guy they've got, and so Nick Stevens comes in. It's a great opportunity to get him some snaps. Just under 7 minutes to go here and get his feet wet. Let him get out there and move it around a little bit.
Well, you know this, that the Florida Gators are next in line. As soon as this one is over, this Tennessee staff will lock in on that as both clubs open up SEC play. Stevens, nice throw over the middle. Pass is caught. And that is Warren with a big reception out to the 44-yard line. A 41-yard pass and catch.
Did I mention he could throw it a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. This is a great opportunity for Nick Stevens to get in the game and throw it a little bit. And a great job of finding the big tight end down the middle. Warren does a good job of gets one-on-one coverage, throwing it out of your own end zone. And how about your first throw as a Tennessee Volunteer? You hit the big tight end down the middle for a big gainer.
Stevens makes a man miss. He'll keep it. Makes a man miss. Out to midfield. Gain of 6.
Well, he shows he's a little fleet of foot as well. 6'4", 215 pounds, makes a guy miss. And gets the sideline. What I like there, Dave, is he hasn't played a lot, did not throw it into coverage, took care of the ball, got what he could get, and got out of bounds.
Out of the eye. Gain of maybe a yard by Poole. DJ Reese picks up his 4th tackle. You know, when we were talking to Eric Schumann, the defensive coordinator at UAB, I was saying, you know, Coach, you don't have a lot of size up there. You know, maybe the biggest guy around 270. And he stopped and he says, who's 270? I would love a 270er.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of size, but what they do play is with a lot of motion, a lot of motor. They've given it everything they've got up front. They're just overmatched size-wise.
Stevens throws a bullet. It's intended for Quentin Hancock. That goes incomplete.
Once again, Coach Fulmer almost out to the numbers, hollering at somebody. Boy, he's really worked hard today, motivating his team. He's hollering at them, trying to get them going, get off the field.
Yeah, he's
coaching hard. He's upset there at Big Ramon Johnson. Didn't like what he did on that last pass protection job.
See our Academy Sports down and distance marker telling you it's 4th down and 4. And here's Chad Cunningham. This ball will hit and die at the 19-yard line with 4:28 to play. Tennessee comfortably in control. 35-3, Tennessee out in front of UAB, our all-tell game of the weekend. Most of the 98,000 that were on hand have headed home. UAB. Will Webb. Frantrell Forrest. Well, this football season, it's all about you, 10 friends, and a private jet. Enter the Alltel My Circle Gridiron Getaway for your chance to take 10 friends on a private jet to any regular season game. The ultimate VIP experience. For your chance to win, text SEC to 57533 or visit alltelfootball.com. Joe Webb still working hard. First down, UAB.
Yeah, we talked about this Tennessee defense was going to have to try to find Joe Webb, and they're going to play a lot of zone, watch his eyes. Eric Berry gets the interception, snuffed out a drive in the first half, but they slowly turned up the pressure on Webb and were able to come up with some interceptions, and did a nice job for John Chavis. They really played at a high level today.
Over the middle, pass is caught to the 36-yard line. That's Justin Brooks, brought down by Frazier. I'll bring up a second down. Ball's defense today, 3 interceptions to go with the 4 in week 1. Woodman scores. David Cutcliffe gets a win at Duke. Congratulations to him. McKenzie bats that ball in the air. Boy, McKenzie, when he's in the game, he seems like he's always coming with pressure.
Yeah, he's a guy has a good feel for it, Dave. Former safety. We know he had the interception 2 weeks ago against UCLA and returned it for a touchdown, but he's done a good job of, like you said, on the pressure looks. He's got good ball skills, gets his hands on the ball.
3:02 to play in this one. Talked about Georgia, South Carolina coming up in a few minutes. I think another big one tonight, Auburn and Mississippi State.
It's a game that Auburn got surprised by the Bulldogs last year at Auburn, so they go down, take on the Bulldogs at their place.
Flag down, near side, 35-yard line.
Field and an eligible man downfield.
There is Brent Vincent getting his first action today. Look at our Hampton Hotels upcoming schedule. See, Tennessee will wait for Florida, and then they will travel to Auburn. I mean, that's...
Well, it gets a lot easier for the Vols, doesn't it, after
this? You know, there's Arian Foster.
Well, I really thought Dave in the second half, he kind of put the team on his back there in that drive, kind of kick-started the whole operation. You know, they had 14 points in the first half, and they came out and needed something to kick-start them in the second half, and really Foster loaded them up and carried them.
And, you know, he had 72 or 74 yards on that 80-yard drive for a touchdown. Go to RaycomSports.com for a variety of SEC football highlights and features, archived video, sweepstakes, podcast, and information on our SEC Game of the Week. RaycomSports.com, your link on the web to the SEC. And, of course, we'll have a little podcast we'll put together for you. Put that on there. Get you a little update. Tennessee's offense will come back on the field with 2:46 to play in this one. Nick Stevens back in at quarterback. That handoff goes to Poole. Let's go downstairs, check in with Dave Baker. Buzz, what do you got?
Dave, you were talking a little bit earlier about Arian Foster, apparently talking to the folks on the Tennessee sidelines. Been a little banged up coming off that first game. And then on that last big run that he had that set up the first touchdown by Creer, that was the last snap that he's been in there for. He's been getting some ice on his leg on the sideline. Certainly that's a situation that Philip Fulmer is going to be following very closely heading into Florida week.
Yeah, no question about it. 200-yard, right at 200 yards for him in 2 games, so he's right where they need to be.
Look at the true freshman Poole.
This is another guy that head coach Philip Fulmer is extremely excited about, Torian Poole. Young man getting an opportunity to play here late in this game. You see the burst.
Looks a little bit like Travis Henry running the football, doesn't he?
Though, with the size, with the big legs.
There's a lot of guys that can carry the football on this team. Again, I mean, it seems like we say that every year. There's always multiple running backs. E.J. Coleman, by the way, quarterback, freshman out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Dave, Cody Sullins, there he is right there, number 66. He's one of the young men that come in and the volunteer player. He's a walk-on. He does everything he can do to try to make this team and try to get better, both at school and on the field. And he was awarded a scholarship on August the 19th with a couple other players, Nick Reveiz being one of them. And it's a ceremony that Coach Fulmer does, and he gets the team together. It's a closed-door ceremony and really a neat deal, and something that Coach Fulmer really treasures, and having an opportunity to do that, present a scholarship to a kid that has really busted his rear end and tried to make something of himself. Cody Sullins, congratulations on that.
And those guys are the ones that love Tennessee. He says, you know, those are the guys I give those to. They not only got to contribute in a lot of ways, but they got to have passion for this university. And you know, Philip Fulmer certainly does. I don't think anybody wants to win any more for this university and do more for this university than the man on that sideline.
No question about it. And those are some of the stories that kind of go untold about these coaches and what they do for this program and how much they admire guys like that have the passion to be a volunteer.
Look at Poole. Inside the 40, dragged down at the 35-yard line.
You want to talk about a guy growing a little bit and doing what he had to do to get himself in the game. Sullins did a great job there. The center, we just talked about him, got a great block on Henderson, the linebacker, and Poole gets the big run.
Tennessee could call it an afternoon if they want, with 24, actually now down to 18 seconds. So Philip Fulmer will pick up the first win of 2008. Don't forget, next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, Alabama at Arkansas, right here on Raycom Sports. We'll be in high def where available. And that'll do it. Last play of the game. So Neil Callaway, his team gave a valiant effort but just ran out of gas against a bigger, stronger, faster Tennessee team. Tennessee wins it 35-3 back in the moment.